Kevin Durant is truly a unicorn in every sense of the word, a magical player that cannot be compared to any player before or that will come after it. The way he's built is different, the way he plays is different, the way he handles himself with the media is different, and the way he steps the hell up in the playoffs is different, to the point where he might be one of the best playoff players of all time, one of the best playoff performers of all time. Now, I understand it's easier when you get to play alongside a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and even for a while, DeMarcus Cousins. I understand that, but that doesn't explain the monstrous level up KD experiences when passing through the playoff threshold. Kevin Durant already has the third highest points per game average in playoff history, averaging a little more than 29 points per game. And then individually, the last 3 seasons in Golden State in particular, KD has stepped up big in the playoffs. In the 2016-17 season, KD went from averaging 25 points per game in the regular season to 28 in the playoffs. And he went from averaging 26 the next year in the regular season to 29 in the playoffs. And finally, this regular season, he averaged 26 points per game during the regular season. And this so far in the playoffs, he's averaging close to 34 or 35 points per game. And speaking of efficiency, KD has been averaging an almost 50-40-90 shooting percentage in the playoffs since coming to Golden State. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means he's shooting almost 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line, which is all at the same time, by the way, which is an incredible feat that very few players can do, and it's a true mark of an efficient player, an efficient scorer. His rebound numbers also tend to go up in the playoffs, which we should also mention. And then his PER, his player efficiency rating, also increases during the playoffs despite the increase in usage percentage. So even though he has a higher usage percentage, even though he has the ball more in his hands, he's actually making less mistakes and having more of a positive impact, and he's being more efficient. But perhaps the most evidence for Durant's notable playoff increases is in his performances in the NBA Finals. Against LeBron James of all people, Kevin Durant continued to step up when this team needed him the most, making clutch buckets to win games and to keep games close. He's a 2-time Finals MVP for a reason, and that's despite Steph Curry having incredible Finals performances in his own right. Kevin Durant was just better than his cohort in that sense. Just better than a 2-time league MVP, that's all. And so far in these playoffs, after Patrick Beverley and the rest of the Clippers questioned the Warriors' toughness, Durant showed just why they were so tough by dropping 50 to go along with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. Oh, and while shooting 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line. All in the closeout game to send the Clippers home. That's another change from Kevin Durant, specific to his playoff performances in Golden State. Maybe it's having to do with the fact that his team is so much better, maybe it's not, but KD just seems much more sure of himself and confident as an individual player in the playoffs, now more than ever before. And even more importantly, he's much more willing to be assertive during a game and being willing to take the load on his back and say, I am the leader, I'm going to will us this game no matter what, which is something that he sometimes had a problem with in OKC. During the post-game interviews after the Clippers were eliminated, Beverley and Lou Williams laughed off questions from reporters that asked what could they have done to better stop Kevin Durant, better slow him down. And their response was they tried everything and nothing worked. That just sums it up, really. Many players have been great in the playoffs, but not like Durant. These last 3 years in particular shows you why Durant has come into his own as one of the most unstoppable individual forces in playoff history.